Here is a fun fact. Did you know that an average person speaks at a rate of 150 words per minute? While we can think up to 600 words per minute. Yes, that's right. We think 4 times faster than we can speak. So, not surprisingly, when giving a speech, our perception of time is often off. As your thoughts race ahead of you, one thing that can help you in many ways during a speech is a rightly timed pause. But unfortunately, so many of you struggle with pausing, either because you're afraid of breaking the flow of your speech or you don't know when or how to do it effectively. But fear not, because today I'm going to share with you some practical tips on how to master the art of pausing. So, if you're ready to ditch those boring, monotonous speeches and start captivating your audience with your words, let's get started. Hi, my name is Varshit and welcome back to my channel PPR English. On this channel, I will discuss challenges specific to communication for working professionals in India. Number one, why to pause? People fear that any moment of silence during a speech will make them appear unprepared, nervous, or forgetful. If you think so too, you're highly mistaken. When you pause during your speech, you give your listeners time to process the information you just shared. You allow them to reflect on what you said and create a connection between your words and their own thoughts. This is how you engage your audience and make your message stick. Moreover, taking a pause also gives you a chance to collect your thoughts and organize your next sentence. It allows you to eliminate filler words such as and which can distract your audience and lower your credibility. Let me give you an example. Suppose you are pitching a product to a potential customer. Our product is great because it has this feature and that feature and it's perfect for you and because it solves your problem and it's affordable and easy to use and. Now let me add some pauses to the same speech. Our product is great because it has this feature and that feature and it's perfect for you because it solves your problem and it's affordable and easy to use. See the difference? By pausing, you allowed the potential customer to digest each piece of your information and consider it. You also sound more confident, thoughtful, and trustworthy. Remember, the goal of pausing is not to simply take a break or fill time. It's to create a more engaging and impactful experience for your audience. Number two, when to pause. The famous American writer said, "The right word may be effective, but no word was as effective as rightly timed pause." As much as it is important to use pauses in a speech, their timing is equally important. Timing is important. I'm going to share with you 7 examples of when a pause will be rightly timed and effective. Let's begin. The pause before you start. We have all heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. This is especially true when it comes to public speaking. As you approach the stage and take a deep breath and focus on the moment, make eye contact with your audience and smile to build a connection with them. And when you do begin speaking, your audience will sense your confidence and feel more engaged with your message. One great example of this is Steve Jobs' iconic 2007 iPhone presentation. He walked onto the stage in a calm and collected manner. Take a few moments to pause and look around before beginning his speech. This moment of silence created a sense of anticipation and excitement among the audience, making them eager to hear what he had to say. James Hume, the author of the book Speak Like Churchill, Stand Like Lincoln, summarizes our point in his quote, which reads, "Stand, stare, and command your audience, and they will bend their ears to listen." The pause to signal that something important is coming. Pausing is not just about taking a breath or collecting your thoughts. It's also a powerful tool for emphasizing important points in your speech. For example, let's say you're giving a presentation on team productivity and you want to emphasize the most critical attribute of high performance teams. You could say something like this: there is without a doubt one quality that all high performance teams possess, and that is crucial to their success. If your team lacks this quality, you will not perform to your maximum capacity. That attribute is, see, the pause creates a dramatic effect. Now you can fill the answer with what you think is the most important criteria for high performance team. But notice how this pauses create suspense and tension, building anticipation for the big reveal. By using a well-timed pause, you can grab your audience's attention and keep them engaged throughout your presentation. Pausing can also help you convey emotion and tone in your speech. For example, you could pause before delivering a punchline or a poignant statement, emphasizing its impact and leaving your audience with a lasting impression. Number three, the pause to let the message sink in. Let's say you have a crucial point that you want your audience to remember. By pausing before you deliver that point, you're signaling to your audience that something important is about to be said. And when you pause after the point is delivered, you're allowing some time for the audience to let it sink in. This can make all the difference in ensuring that your message is received and retained by your listeners. For example, let me share a shocking statistic with you. According to the NRCB Crime in India 2021 report, an average of 82 people were murdered every day in India. Let that sink in for a moment. Now here is a challenge for you. Once you finish watching this video, recall and write down those statuses in the comment section. Let us see how well you remember them. The pause when moving to a new topic. A well-timed pause can do wonders for your presentation, especially when transitioning between different topics. When moving from one topic to another, it's essential you give your audience a moment to catch their breath and prepare for what's next. A well-timed pause can make all the difference in keeping your audience engaged and avoiding any confusion or disorientation. For example, let's say you're giving a speech on the impact of plastic garbage in our oceans and you want to shift your focus to 3 companies that are doing something about it. A poorly executed transition might sound something like this. We have seen the devastating impact the plastic garbage is causing in the oceans. And now I want to talk about 3 companies that are doing something about it. The first company is But. With the power of the pause, your transition can be much more smoother and more effective. We have seen the devastating impact the plastic garbage is causing in the oceans. But creative people come up with ways to turn the situation around. I want to share the stories of 3 people that are doing just that. The first company is, see how the pause acts as a boundary line between the 2 topics, and to take it to the next level, you can combine the pause with a physical movement like taking a sip of water or moving to a new location on stage. The pause for emphasis. A pause can be used to emphasize a key point or statistic. For shocking statistics, one can heighten the dramatic effect by combining repetition with pauses. Now pay attention to my delivery in the example. The garbage dumped in the ocean every year is roughly around 14 billion pounds. 14 billion pounds. The pause combined with the repetition puts more emphasis on the shocking statistic. It indirectly lets the audience feel the gravity of this information. So next time you have something shocking to tell your friends, give that pause and repeat the message and then see the look on their faces. The pause to get your audience to reflect. Reflective pauses are a powerful technique that can help you engage your listeners and make your speech more memorable. When you ask your audience to imagine a scenario or recall a relatable memory, it allows them to personalize the subject for themselves. But if you don't give your audience a few seconds to reflect, they will feel frustrated and disconnected from your message. It's like cutting someone off mid-sentence. That's why it's crucial to pause and give your listeners time to think about how they would respond before continuing your speech. For example, think about a time when you feel truly happy and proud about your behavior or actions. Now, wasn't that a moment of reflection? By giving you time to think, I created a connection between us and made my message more impactful. And the best part, you can do the same with your audience. The pause when answering questions. Another great way to engage the audience is to allow listeners to ask questions. It not only makes your presentation interactive, but also gives you the opportunity to showcase your expertise and engage with your audience. But if you rush to the answer, the question, or interrupt the questioner mid sentence, it can come across as rude and dismissive. It also suggests that you weren't paying attention and had already formulated a response before the question was even finished. It's not just about the answer itself. Imagine someone from the audience asks you a question. Instead of immediately launching into an answer, take a pause and say, "That's a great question. Let me take a moment to gather my thoughts." The simple act of pausing accomplishes a few important things. First, it shows that you are actively listening and taking the question seriously. Second, it gives you a chance to collect your thoughts and compose a thoughtful response. And finally, it allows the other members of the audience to register the question and mentally prepare for your response. So, the next time you're presenting and someone asks a question, remember to pause before answering. By the way, you guys have all the time to ask me your doubts and questions in the comment section. There will be no one to interrupt, and I will answer them all. So, these were the 7 tips that tell you when to take pauses in your speech. Now that you know the right timings for your pauses, let me also share some tips on how to develop and improve the skill on a day to day basis. Even in our daily conversations, we naturally pause to gather our thoughts and emphasize a point or create suspense. However, when it comes to public speaking, we often forget the importance of taking strategic pauses. But fear not, because with a little practice, you too can become a master of the pause. Here are some tips to help you get started. Number 1, study the masters. The best way to learn how to use pauses effectively is to study the masters. Watch speeches from renowned speakers like Martin Luther King Jr., Winston Churchill, or TED Talk presenters like Simon Sinek. Observe how they use pauses to create tension, highlight key points, and connect with the audience. Number 2, mark your pauses. When writing your speech, mark your pauses with bright colors and big letters that read pause. This will help you remember to use them effectively during your delivery. Remember, your notes are not for you, not the audience, so make them as useful as possible. Number 3, get feedback. Practice your speech in front of a friend or a colleague and ask for their feedback on the timing and length of your pauses. This will help you understand how your audience perceives your message and adjust your pauses accordingly. Number 4, review and improve. Record yourself delivering your speech and listen back to it, paying attention to your pauses. Note where you missed an opportunity to pause or where you could have used a long pause to make a point. Using this feedback improves your delivery. Number 5, incorporate pauses into your everyday communication. Finally, practice using pauses in your everyday conversations. Pause before responding to your friends, when switching to a new topic, or when emphasizing a point. This will help you become more comfortable with pacing your communication and using timely pauses. And that's a wrap for today. This was all about pauses. There is an old saying among musicians: music is what happens between the notes. It's the same with public speaking. A great speech happens between the words because it is during the pauses that we can reflect on the significance of what you have said and made it relevant to us. And that is how you make an impact. Hope you found this video useful and educational. Like this video and share it with your friends to let them know the importance of pauses. Let me know in the comment section what are your thoughts on pauses and share your on-stage experiences. For more such helpful content, subscribe to my channel BBR English. I will be back with more exciting stuff soon. Till then, take care and take pauses.